everybody, I'm your host Trina, and this is Billboard's Women in Music 2023. Welcome to the annual moment where we honor some of the fabulous women who've made extraordinary contributions to music.
Yeah, bitch, I could be a fantasy. I could tell you got big, deep energy. You have stolen my heart, oh yeah. Live for you and let me live for you. Let me crawl inside your body, make a million. You ain't tell you how many times quiero, mejor sé sincero. Oiga, te amo porque eso fue en vano. A little bit of love is all that is needed. I might kill my ex. I still love you though. Ya lo sé todo, me dijeron de ella, me dijeron su vida, y en verdad me dan pena si tú. If you wanna drop the attic, give me love, give me Fendi, my Balenciaga daddy. You gonna need to bag it up. 'Cause
We've got a great pre-show for you today. We've got exclusive interviews with powerhouse newcomers like Latto and genre-bending trailblazers like Evie Queen. But first, let's take a minute to run down some of the stellar accomplishments women in music have made over the last year. First up, a big congratulations to our Queen Bee, Beyonce.
So much to the Grammys.
In 2020, with 28 Grammy Awards, Beyonce earned the title of the woman with the most career Grammy wins. But just a few weeks ago, with her 32nd Grammy win, our Queen Bee broke the record for the most Grammy wins of all times.
I'd like to thank the queer community for your love and for inventing this genre.
A major step forward for all the women out there. Next up, showing a little love for the Swifties. Taylor Swift had a massive year with her 10th studio album, Midnight.
Taylor Swift has taken over the charts. Taylor made history owning the top 10 spots on the Hot 100 with tracks off of Midnight.
it's me. Hi, I'm the problem, it's me.
Not only did she set the Guinness record for the most streams on Spotify in a day and most album streams on Spotify in a single day, she also became the first artist in history to stake claim to the entire top 10 spots on the Billboard Hot 100 list.
Right now, your future Woman of the Year is probably sitting in a piano lesson or in a girls' choir. And today, right now, we need to take care of her.
Another woman with a huge year was SZA. The St. Louis-born singer-songwriter hit worldwide success in 2022, topping the Billboard Global 200 chart with her single Kill Bill.
Just kill my ex. I still love him though.
But what's even more badass is her album SOS, which became the first R&B album to spend its first 7 weeks at #1 on the Billboard 200 since Whitney Houston gave us Whitney back in 1987. Not bad company to be talked about in the same breath as Whitney. A woman who knows a little bit about that also had a big year. With her remix album, Finally Enough Love, Madonna became the first woman in history to chart a top 10 album on the Billboard 200 in each of the last 5 decades, proving the Queen of Pop still reigns. And we can't talk about this past year without mentioning the infectious creativity Latinas are bringing. After taking home Billboard's Rule Breaker Award last year, Colombian superstar Karol G made history as one of the few Latin artists to ever take the main stage at Coachella. The first woman to hold #1s and 2 in the same week on the Hot Latin Songs charts without any accompanying acts since Selena in 1995. Needless to say, we're looking forward to seeing what rules Karol G will shatter this year. Meanwhile, Billie Eilish is setting the standard for the next generation.
That I've fallen for a lie.
In 2022, Billie became the second youngest artist to take home the Academy Award for Best Original Song for her work on the James Bond track No Time to Die.
There's just no time to die.
There's so much to protect in our lives That's why Nationwide is on your side.
Time to take a moment to get up close with the woman who came on the scene recently and who's ready to change the game again. We're so excited to honor our next guest. This Atlanta-based hip-hop artist first caught our eye when she was just 17 years old and annihilated the competition on the popular reality series, The Rap Game.
Give it back. On top, just like my hat. You a duck like quack.
Since then, she's hit the Billboard Hot 100 charts, snagged 2 Grammy nominations, and became the first solo female rapper from Atlanta to go platinum.
Bad bitch, I could be a fantasy. I could tell you got big, deep energy. It ain't too many that can handle me, but I might let you try it off the Hennessy.
Tonight, Latto's receiving the Powerhouse Award and joining the lineup of previous Powerhouse winners like Jessie J, Dua Lipa, and Kelly Clarkson. Billboard's R&B hip-hop reporter, Nina Rohani, sat down with Latto before the show and had an amazing conversation.
If you badmouth Lizzo in front of me, I'm gonna go in your dick.
Have you ever been to London?
Hey guys, I'm Nina Rohani here with Billboard News, and we are in LA at the Paramore Estate, and sitting in front of me is artist and rapper Latto. Hi.
Hey, nigga.
You know that I'm a freak. You know I like it slow. I'm trying to make a movie. I'm giving you the code.
This is shaping up to be a big year.
It is. I'm excited.
Can you give me some adjectives to describe what is to come?
Authentic. Because I started rapping so young, I've had a lot of other opinions in cooks in the kitchen, you know? So now I'm taking control back. It's my story being told now. Musically, it's how I want it to sound, you know? So it's exciting.
Don't make me say it twice. I said what I said. 2 things I don't need. That's the orange bread.
You're saying you're taking back control. You are our powerhouse for women in music.
Yeah.
And so what do you think is the way in which you utilize your power?
My #1 thing has been being a girl's girl. I feel like I utilize my power in uplifting others on my way up. When you see Latto do a feature with upcoming female rapper, I don't charge them for that. The label gotta cover the glam, cause baby, it costs a lot to get ready now.
Yeah.
But I don't profit off of that.
Right.
If I let you take me home with you tonight.
I love to see the new wave of female rapping. I'm honored to be a part of it.
Who did that for you?
It started with Queen Latifah, Trina.
I
love me some Trina. Cardi shows me so much love. City Girls. I get a lot of love. I'm not gonna lie. Real recognize real. That's all that is.
Yeah, and I think you just have such a attractive energy.
Yeah.
I mean, like, obviously it's cliche because of the song, but it's true. I'm sure you have a lot of things going on behind the scenes, but every time you just come with your best foot forward.
You got to.
Yeah.
Because if you don't, this will get tiring real fast. You will be overworked. You will lose the enthusiasm. Keeping my friends around, like 9 times out of 10, if you see an employee around me, I've been knew them. I grew up with them.
Your sister's around a lot too, right?
Yeah,
Brooke,
my
right?
sister, my mom. So it keep me grounded and like grateful. I don't never take nothing for granted.
So I watched a recent interview of yours, and you were talking about how you were doing high school level writing competitions as a 5th grader.
5th grade. Shout out to Miss Harris. I feel like she jump-started my passion for writing. She made me believe in myself.
Peter Piper, I'm as hot as a pepper, no wonder it better. All I write is checks, I ain't got no time to write love letters.
So my first song was all over the place. I don't
So
even remember.
you were writing songs?
Yes. I'm getting picked up from school, going to the studio, like doing my homework in the lobby, and then going to the booth. It was probably like a little autobiography type of thing. I'm talking about my haters in school. I was obsessed with Sierra. I would try to dance like her.
Oh my God.
Ain't got a lick of rhythm.
Really? I see you dancing in your performances.
I'm learning. I'm learning.
Like, when did you start to like understand the business side of being a musician? Because like that's a whole thing.
Child. You have to learn yourself as an artist. Okay, what am I gonna sound like? What am I gonna rap about? What do my beats sound like? Where is my lane in the industry? But then once you figure that out, now you gotta figure out the business side of things. Otherwise, you just gonna be high and dry when your 15 minutes up. I don't think I've learned it 100%. I'm learning it though. I've seen so many people come and go on my way up, but one thing about it, it's been a steady incline. I come from teen parents. They didn't go to college. I watched them get out of the mud, so I'm like very keen on, I know what I want, and I'm gonna have it my way or the highway.
Start a bottle, what these bitches barely keeping up. Bugging like they want some smoke, but they ain't deep enough.
Who are some women in the industry, it doesn't have to be rappers, it can just be anyone, that like they've supported you behind the scenes?
I would not let nobody badmouth Lizzo. She embraced me in a way that I've never been embraced before. SZA, love me some SZA. Like, I still be shocked, like when her name pop up on my phone, I still will fan out. I'm like, I'll be listening to her song and she'll text me. I'm like, what the
I might kill my ex, not the best idea.
I still be fans and I don't look at them as peers yet.
Yeah. Can you recall like a piece of advice that any of these people gave you that kind of stuck with you?
Remy told me, she was like, don't let them change you. You know your sound, you know how you want to be. Keep it authentic, like don't lose your core. And I've been on that a lot lately. Small or big, I appreciate it because it's played a role in shaping me as a woman and an artist. Thank you so much. Thank you
so much.
Girl, you finna get me emotional.
Oh my God, no, seriously.
Everything's gonna be alright.
Surprise! Your girl Big Latto will be at Billboard's Women in Music March 1st, so get your tickets. You will see me there.
Ask any woman and they'll tell you, finding success in the music industry is not easy. But that's why we're all here tonight, to encourage every woman out there to keep fighting. So in hopes to inspire the next generation of women in music, we sat down with some of the iconic women of Billboard and asked them to get a little vulnerable and share some intimate details about their come up, the challenges they faced, and how they overcame the odds.
The most pivotal moment in my career, my first concert I ever covered for Billboard was in 2017. It was a really small Kings of Leon concert, tiny, and it was just the first time I ever got to attend and cover a concert and write about music. And it was the first time that I realized that this is my career and it's happening, and I don't know, it just felt like my dreams were coming true.
One of the pivotal moments in my career was meshing my passion with what I've always loved to do, which is create videos. So getting to produce content, whether that is for a big event like Latin Music Week, or meeting some of my favorite people or artists like the Jonas Brothers, sitting down with artists maybe that I don't know as much and getting a chance to tell their story has been really exciting and fun for me.
My most pivotal moment of my career would be when I started working with Dame Dash. From the start, it was strictly business, like, what do you do? I'm a photographer, painter, and then he's like, cool, you wanna get on stage and paint tonight? I wanna see the rest of your work. And then I started having art galleries and shooting movies and performing live on stages across the country. It's just crazy.
The most pivotal moment in my career was making the decision to leave Turner and come to work at Billboard. That was 5 years ago. And coming back to media was really driven by my love for music and my belief in the potential that Billboard had to grow and expand, especially to become a consumer brand and a fan-facing brand more than a trade publication. And it was the best decision I ever made.
One of the most pivotal moments of my time here at Billboard was when I was able to lead the creation of our magazine issue responding to the repeal of Roe v. Wade. It was a huge project that had to be done in very little time. It was a huge challenge to figure out a really specific way to respond to something that felt like a national crisis. I heard from so many people in the industry who we were speaking to and afterwards about how much it meant to them to see Billboard take on a project like this, that Billboard was one of the only publications that really immediately responded to what was happening, and that was incredibly rewarding.
The most pivotal moment in my career, I would say, is probably when I started working at Larry King Now. Until then, I had been working mostly in sales and in marketing, and I was going back to school for my MBA. And when I started that job, it really put my career on a new path. It opened me up into the video space, into production, and to where I am today.
I wanted to go to Puerto Rico for no other reason than the fact that I just wanted to go to Puerto Rico. And I was like, what could I write about in Puerto Rico? And I've always loved reggaeton, so I was like, I'm gonna write a story about the roots of reggaeton and I'm gonna get it placed in Rolling Stone. Mind you, I had 0 clips. I had never written a music story in my life, and I did it. I DM'd a bunch of these reggaeton artists on Instagram. We went to Puerto Rico, I met with some of them, interviewed them, wrote the story, pitched it to Rolling Stone, and it got picked up. And that really was like really important, because I feel like if that never happened, I wouldn't be where I am now, writing about music every day.
The most pivotal moment of my career was when I got hired as a staff writer at Vibe. Prior to working at Vibe, I was a freelance writer, and while some people do choose that journey, it was not for me. I was very determined to get hired on staff somewhere where I can have a home base, where I can have a team, and kind of just grow as a writer and a journalist.
At the time I was working at RKO Radio, I learned about different trade publications. At the time there was Record World, there was Cashbox was a popular one, Billboard certainly, and a new startup by Bob Kardashian, father of Kim Chloe, as everyone knows him today, and Bob Wilson, the former program director of K-Day Radio here in LA. The station's still around. And they started Radio and Records, and Radio and Records based their playlists on actual radio airplay. We would sit there literally and call different stations in the different genres and ask them for their top 20 records, ask them for their new ads, and then we would sit there and tabulate. This is before computers took over. We would sit there and tabulate by hand what they would tell us, and that's how we came up with the charts. And these charts, this was before SoundScan, these charts were considered to be more of a reality picture as to what program directors were playing, since we were talking directly to the programmers and getting their information.
The most pivotal moment in my career happened very early on. By the time I was in 6th grade, I had already decided I wanted to be a reporter. And Lily Tomlin was coming to town to do a show at a comedy nightclub. And she was doing a show for kids. So I called the nightclub to see if I could interview her. And this was a very different time. She actually called me back and said that I could not interview her because she didn't have time in her schedule, but she just wanted to encourage me to keep doing what I was doing. So my sister and I went to the show, and I walked backstage afterwards, and she looked at me and she went, "Melinda?" And I went, "Yes." And she said, "Okay, come on." And I had brought my questions with me. And so at a very early age, the lesson that I learned was always be prepared, and the first no does not mean no. And just to kind of wrap the story up, in 2014, I was freelancing and I was covering the Kennedy Center Honors for Rolling Stone, and she was getting a Kennedy Center honor. And I went up to her and told her the story, and she swears she remembered. I do not believe this, but she is responsible for my believing I can do what I do.
One thing remains true and clear. Throughout the journeys of all women in music, we won't get anywhere unless we support each other. While the industry still has important work ahead, women in music have come a long way. We recognize our accomplishments over the last year, but let's not forget to celebrate the legendary women who helped us first break that ceiling. Like Sylvia Rhone, who became the first woman to hold the dual title of chair CEO of a major label. And Bozoma St. John, who as head of marketing at Apple Music, transformed the platform in 2016 and forever changed how we consume and interact with the artists we love. The more we talk about those women, the more we celebrate those who lead the way, the more we will continue to climb. And we'll see more and more firsts in the industry, like Connie Francis, the first woman to top the Billboard Hot 100. Whitney Houston, the first woman to debut at #1 on the Billboard 200. Adele is the first woman to have an album spend an entire decade on the Billboard 200. Her album 21 spent the most weeks ever on the Billboard 200 among all women. And Mariah Carey, the woman with the most #1 hits on the Billboard Hot 100 and the artist with the most weeks spent at #1 on the Hot 100. It's important to keep seeing these first, but it's just as important to keep talking about them so that they keep happening. Representation and recognition are the pavement on the road to a better future for women in music.
Who's someone who's been on y'all's, y'all?
I'm Melinda Newman, executive editor at Billboard Magazine, and we're here to celebrate all things Billboard Women in Music. We're joined by an amazing roster of women, all of whom work in the editorial department at Billboard. To my immediate left is Gail Mitchell, who's head of R&B and hip hop, Katie Bain, who's head of our dance music coverage, Lindsay Havens, who's in charge of our pop music coverage, but way, way more than that, and Kristen Robinson, who is our publishing maven.
This event is all about supporting the most influential women in music. Who's someone who's been on your side this year?
We have a group called Sister Friends, and it's women who were in the industry before me, another woman that came in right at the same time I did, so we've helped each other along.
My answer is essentially the same, of just women that I've worked with in the past and good friends. They get it, they can give you the feedback, you know, offer advice. Who's someone who's been on your side this year?
I would say all of you guys. Like, you know, when we're in the office, I just feel like we can all learn from each other. I feel like if one of us is having a really bad day, just being able to say, okay, I need 5 minutes and I need to vent. And just being able to do that and ask for advice.
I agree. I think the women in this office are amazing. I mean, I started as an intern, and so I really just feel like the women of this company were the ones who've been on my side this year, last year, all the years.
So, Gail, who's been on your side throughout your career?
I have to say my mom. She would just keep telling me put one foot in front of the other. There's at one point, I can't name names, but I got into a situation with a major label exec, and I got cursed out over the phone and all kinds of stuff, so I'm shaking like this. I call my mom, and she said to me, as long as what you wrote wasn't out of malice, then hold your head high and keep moving forward. And that's how I've done everything, even being divorced and trying to raise 2 kids on my own with a job like this where you're out at night and I'm feeling guilty. That impact, just put one foot in front of the other and pick your battles. That was how I've conducted my career.
I'm tempted to say my parents as well. I mean, they have just been so supportive from the start. And I always sort of look at it as my dad went to Woodstock, my mom taught English, and here I am writing about music. So they really were supportive, and I feel like I'm just like the perfect fusion of that.
Yeah, I've got to also say my mom. I'm from a small town in Wisconsin, and I moved to the big city to be a music journalist. You know, I saw Almost Famous, and it was like, that's gonna be me, and everyone was like, all right, you know, like,
it's you.
But my mom was like, absolutely. She drove me to LA.
Oh, wow.
I didn't have a job. I didn't have an apartment. I didn't have any friends. And I always knew that if things didn't work out, I had a place to go back to. Okay. So in that way, I could never fail.
My parents, I have to say, they were so supportive. I remember in 5th grade when I decided I wanted to do this for a living. This was before laptops.
5th grade? Wow.
They got me an electric typewriter, and were just incredibly supportive, and that has stayed with me my entire life. There was never a doubt in my mind that I could do this.
Yeah. I really do think that what we've all touched on is like people that have believed in us from when we honestly didn't even necessarily deserve it yet. Like we were just getting started, and I know that my mom has also been there for me in that same way. She always said, I'm not worried about you. You're gonna be okay.
So when we think about male or female artists who have really helped others level up and, you know, been there for other artists and given them a platform, who is someone that comes to mind?
I'm gonna say Taylor Swift.
Yeah.
I think she has rewritten the rule book. She has decided that no one is gonna hold her back, and she is not going to hold her tongue about the difficulties she's faced from the patriarchy.
I think you've got a Rihanna. People are fiending for her to put a new album out. She's like, I've got other things I want to do. She just did the, I was just so shocked that there were people maligning her for being pregnant again. And I'm just like, what kind of a world are we living in?
Okay, so how do you think that men and women can do a better job in the music industry of supporting women?
Hire women.
It's simple. Yeah.
Just get women in the door, because I feel like when you open a door for a woman, then she does the rest of the work herself, usually.
Yeah. One of the things that we could all do better in the music industry is supporting mothers. Women in their 30s who are starting to consider motherhood or already have become mothers. We oftentimes don't really support them and give them the space to have personal life and a professional life.
I think you have to be very willing to say, I'm going to kick this door open and I'm going to leave it way wider open than it was when I had to come through it. But I think there are a lot of women who do that, actually.
Thank you guys so much for joining us. It's really great to get to talk to some of my favorite colleagues. We hope you guys enjoyed, and we hope you enjoy women in music.
Yeah, we're here to celebrate some serious accomplishments, but it's also fun to just fantasize about some what ifs. Like, what if Kelly Clarkson and Cardi B did a country album together? What if you could put together the ultimate dream girl group? We've asked some of your favorite female artists to do exactly that, and here's what they had to say.
You have all the money in the world to start the ultimate girl group. Who do you choose?
Ooh. Okay, I'm lucky to have some really great friends. So Charlie XCX, Anita,
yes,
and obviously myself. BB Rexa,
yes,
Dua Lipa,
yes,
and Ava Max.
Hell yes! So you have the opportunity to start the ultimate girl group.
Okay.
Who's in it?
If I did a girl group, I would do SZA, Rosé, Doja, and Lizzo.
Ooh,
Yeah,
okay.
5. That's 5. That's
Yes,
cool, right? I think
love
that's like a girl
That's a
girl
good,
group. Yeah.
and with different genres, and everybody can contribute
Yeah,
their own little
yep,
thing.
exactly.
Nice balanced girl group. I love it.
If you were creating a girl band
Oh, a girl
with
band.
2 or 3 more girls, who would they be?
I love that question so much. Okay, I never thought about it, but definitely I'll do a band with Patti Smith, Earth Eater, and Bjork.
That's gonna be wild. Okay.
You putting together a massive girl group, what would that look like?
I want a song with Tuva, like so bad.
Yeah.
Tuvalu. Me and Tuva, we're kind of like not too far away from each other when it comes like sonically, musically. But then I'm thinking like, who do I want to throw in there to like mix it up?
Right.
You know? Like one of my top artists last year was Shensia.
Okay.
She's, yeah, a little Jamaican in there. Just
interesting. International.
Yeah, like international. I actually love Latto. I love Kalani.
Love
Yeah,
her.
like
I would love
Ray,
this, like,
who's having such a moment right now.
Yes.
Good for her, yeah.
That'd be cool. A little genre blending
Yeah,
girl group.
yeah.
Jamaican pop with
Little
Jamaican
rap.
Swedish pop.
Yeah.
With rap.
A little R&B.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like they say, it always starts with a dream, which is exactly where it started for our next honoree. A young woman from the west side of Puerto Rico who began her career in 1995. When Ivy Queen moved from New York City back to Puerto Rico, her place of birth, she was an 18-year-old with a deep passion for music. In San Juan, she earned the attention and respect of DJ Negro, one of the fathers of a genre of music that would become known as reggaeton. For years, reggaeton was a male-dominated style, but it was the sound of Ivy Queen that truly brought reggaeton to the world stage. Billboard's chief content officer of Latin, Layla Cobo, sat down with Ivy Queen to talk about her journey and what it takes to break barriers as a woman in music.
You give us that rap now?
¿Cuál el quítate tú que
Sí.
llegó la caballota?
Ajá.
La perra, la diva, la potra, la mami que tiene el tumbao, al que se pare frente me lo llevo enredado, chilling. La mami que tiene el tumbao, al que se pare frente me lo llevo enredado, chilling, porque la queen tiene el mando y chilling, siempre que salgo matando.
Hello everyone,
welcome to Billboard News. This is Leila Cobo, and I'm here in the studio with our icon of the year, Miss Ivy Queen.
Thank you.
How does it feel to be an icon?
Yo estoy emocionada, o sea, yo trato de calmar mis emociones porque he sido una mujer muy fuerte toda mi vida. Pero cuando dicen la palabra icon, cubre tantas cosas, cubre tantas bases y tantas responsabilidades. Pero la mía viene con historias en los hombros, con tanto, pero I feel blessed. I feel happy to be honored this way while I'm alive and I can, que lo puedo disfrutar y que mi hija lo puede ver.
Será así, de pana lo siento, hay que decirnos bye, bye, bye.
I would say that this is the time in your life when I've seen you most relevant, most visible, most everything. Did you ever think that it would come to this at this point in your life?
La realidad del caso es que yo no he parado. I look at myself in the mirror and I say, you know, you have been doing this for the longest and you need to keep it rolling and seguir haciendo lo que me gusta, lo que sé hacer, para lo que nací. Like, uno no piensa cuando comienza en la música cuán grande va a ser la cosa hasta que tienes que vivirlo, y lo que trae la fama is a whole package. Este es un negocio muy, muy fuerte para nosotras las mujeres. I hear so many stories, right? Because for some reason, most of the women that comes to our genre see me as a huge inspiration, also / mother, you know? And I feel in the right to protect the females out there, the ones that want to be protected, the ones that want to carry their crown with such a pride and elegance, you know, because we have too much right now. We have too much. When I started in this music industry, I didn't look like I particularly look right now. So I have to protect myself. I needed to learn how to fight with words. Writing, you know, I used to go to a lot of freestyle competitions and study everything around me. I win my own spot, nobody gave it to me. Yeah, I'm notorious because I stomp on the guys, and muchos de ellos, you know, like I crush egos because I know men have ego. I learned my territory. Yo he estado en todos los oleajes de esta música, desde que fue rap en español, desde que fue reggae, hasta que se convirtió en reggaetón. I fell in love with this music because it's honest. Because I was be able to say things other women couldn't say, you know? Las mujeres que estaban siendo agolpeadas, mujeres que estaban siendo abusadas, mujeres y hombres que por tener tatuajes didn't get a job just because people judging the book by the cover, you know?
But there were no women doing this. Did you ever think, I can't do it? Did you ever think, why
all
me?
the time.
All the time?
All the time.
Really?
I was judged by my nails, my multiple braids, and most of all my voice. They said, you sound so masculine, you know, and I'd be like, at first I thought it was a curse, but then I understood that it was the difference that I have, you know? I want to be different, I love to be different, I don't care, I try to maintain my essence de lo que fue el reggaetón, de lo que es el reggaetón, por eso mantengo las baterías iguales, ciertas líricas iguales, porque no me quiero perder, yo no quiero ser una marioneta, yo no soy una marioneta, you know?
Americana, mi nombre proyecta dinero y fama, por ti nadie se va a morir de ganas.
Was it lonely at the top, Evie?
The only time that I probably felt alone was when I left my family behind, but then yo miraba para el frente y solo decía, pero si esto es lo que yo quiero y lo que he pedido, ¿para qué me voy a quejar, you know?
What sacrifices, looking back, do you feel you had to make for this career?
I sacrificed my privacy. Cuando viene la fama no tienes la libertad de sentarte descalza, comerte un mango en el campo como yo lo hacía. Tienes que actuar políticamente correcta frente a los demás, ¿no? I couldn't walk nowhere. Still to this point, I have always think myself as a queen. My main inspiration was Celia Cruz and is Celia Cruz, and I have always seen myself as a queen, carry myself as a queen. And for me, it's like, what if you really have it in you? You mean like, I'm a great writer, I'm a great rapper, I'm a great lyricist, I'm great at everything that I do. I mean, like, come on, tenemos que aprender a amarnos sin sonar egocentrista, because if you don't love yourself, who the fuck is gonna love you? You know what I mean? Like, give yourself props, like have your own guille, because you got it like that.
Hay que vivir, porque mañana no sabemos, no está prometido nada.
I started with a no. How the fuck I'm gonna say no to myself? When my management said that I am the icon of the year, I fucking couldn't believe it, sorry. You know, because it's been hard. Ha sido una trayectoria muy larga, muy sacrificante, pero muy digna. I feel so proud of myself.
We've heard inspiring stories of the women who've opened countless doors and have certainly impacted me. Our hope is that the entire industry continues fighting for the representation of women in music in order to open doors for the next generations. That's it for us at Billboard's Women in Music 2023. Keep fighting. There is no ceiling, there is no barrier, there is no limit. I'm Trina. Thanks for joining me today. For more Women in Music coverage, be sure to head over to Billboard.com and all of Billboard's socials. Have a good night.